All right, thank you, Danielle. With us now in the studio are CBS 21 political insiders. We have Tony May, the Democratic strategist, Charlie Giroux, the Republican strategist, with us.
Yeah, and I guess the big thing to talk about right now is Ohio, between Romney and Santorum. Too close to call right now.
And Ohio always boils down to the 3 Cs, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. Those are urban areas. They tend to favor in this race Mitt Romney. They're, for whatever reason, Tony can tell you he's a native Ohioan. They're always the last to report. So my guess is that when it's all said and done, Mitt Romney may squeak by. But obviously, earlier tonight when I said it was going to be a tough night for Rick Santorum, I was wrong. He's had a pretty good night, as have all of them in their own respective ways.
Yeah, he certainly has.
How critical is Ohio in all this, and do you know why it takes those places longer?
It's because those are the urban areas, and they hold back their votes in order to be able to tell the winning candidate, I put you over the top. It means a lot to a ward leader to be able to say that. Charlie might have experienced that once or twice. This is an important state for both candidates. It may well go into a recount, a mandatory recount. If it's under 1% in Ohio, they'll have to do a recount. So we may not know tomorrow how this is going to turn out. But in the final analysis, it's almost certain that Santorum will not get a fair share of the delegate votes because he didn't have delegates on the ballot. He was unable to do the registrations properly. His campaign being still understaffed and underorganized was why he did so poorly in Virginia.
You know, Tony hits on something very important. Those early mistakes, because of organizational weaknesses in the early stages of the game, are coming back to haunt Rick Santorum in particular, and Newt Gingrich to a lesser extent. If you look at the vote in Virginia tonight, Mitt Romney should have won that fat, wide, and handsome. He won a relatively narrow victory over Ron Paul.
Right.
Just imagine if Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum had adequately filed the signatures there to be on the ballot. It could have been a very different race in Virginia tonight.
Now, let's talk about Ron Paul. He hasn't won anything yet, and do you think this is it for him?
No, he will stay in, and I think he'll stay in right through to the convention. I think that this is probably a 4-person race with all of them staying in. The question is which ones remain credible. And I think in the next couple of weeks you're going to get a pretty distinct sense of how things are shaking out. But the huge delegate-rich contests are yet to come. In late April, Pennsylvania, and then moving on into later that month, big states. Texas doesn't vote until the end of May. California not until early June. Those are the big blocks of delegates.
Right. So there's still time.
Lots of time.
Okay.
And it's good for Democrats. The longer this drags on, this long nightmare, Democrats are relishing watching Republicans punch each other in the face.
That is true, and that's been mentioned by a lot of people, a lot of times. Tony May, Charlie Giroux, thank you both.
Thanks, guys.